Across the Fence, a photographic essay of spring's melt. We'll look back to see the splendor of nature in seasonal transition. And the excitement of young students involved in hands-on science in a special program offered by UVM Extension 4-H. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. The UVM Extension 4-H program often offers special interest programs for kids with the help of volunteers. The programs are offered in partnership with schools. They are short-term and include areas such as photography, science, and engineering. The volunteers receive training in experiential learning and are supported by 4-H educators. On a number of occasions, UVM students volunteer to share their knowledge by facilitating one of those special interest programs. It's a win-win scenario, especially for the kids who get a chance to learn by doing. Keith Silva tells us about one example, a chemistry program that definitely draws excitement from young students.
Take a six-pack of ginger ale, a bunch of balloons, some pop rocks, and put it all in the hands of some enthusiastic third graders. Now this is science.
I think the science is really fun.
Twice a week, this class at the Champlain Elementary School of Burlington plays host to University of Vermont undergrads Ginny Trimble
maybe that's why.
and Pamela Derrickson. Together, these two biochemistry majors teach the children about science using a curriculum provided by UVM Extension 4-H. The experiments are hands-on, and the goal is to learn and to have fun.
Cool. Does anyone else have something like that?
Sadie?
I like to see when they get enthusiastic and when it seems like they're learning stuff. I think that's really the most special thing to me. I'm always the student at school, but to get to share my knowledge with other people is really nice.
The kids have a lot of fun doing it, and I just like being with kids and helping people, and teaching science is really fun too because I really like science a lot. I try to be as enthusiastic as possible, and and just doing experiments is really a good way to get them interested in science. Just doing it a hands-on experience, like figuring out what happens when you do certain things. I think that's the best way.
The experiment on the table today is to see what happens when the carbon dioxide inside pop rocks meets the carbon dioxide in ginger ale.
I thought the pop rocks were gonna sort of sink down to the bottom and then sort of push up again.
Did you think it was going to explode?
Yeah.
I learned that, when pop rocks go into ginger ale, that it really fizzes up a ton. Well, I thought it would expand, but I didn't think the balloon would pop.
The scientific method of predicting, experimenting, and collecting data lines up with the 4-H tenet of learning by doing. Getting students to learn with their hands is something teacher Colleen Cowell emphasizes in her classroom.
Well, I think students only learn from doing hands-on. I think they really have to experiment, and they have to be able to touch things and see how things happen. And in this classroom, our science never comes from a book. It's always hands-on experiments. It's real learning. It's life learning. And for them to be able to see it, be able to talk about it, and communicate about it is very important.
Instead of just reading about what happens, you actually get to see what happens.
If it was just reading it out of a book, we wouldn't really actually be doing it. And so I like actually doing it.
Students learn that science isn't all fun and games. It's hard work, and it requires writing, drawing, and sometimes starting over again.
I mean, we try to make it exciting and incorporate the work that they'll have to do later, so it's not some false illusion of them just having balloons expand and candy all the time, but there's actually work that goes along with it too. So how could you make that into an observation?
I just like writing predictions and doing the experiments. I don't really know why, but I just like writing down what I think.
What type of reaction did we witness or did we see today?
Beyond the experiments and what's being taught, there's a lot of mutual learning going on as well, for the students and the teachers.
I think it's really great for kids to see college students. I love for them to see women who are interested in science. We also work with some engineers from UVM, and I think having different kids coming and teaching the science and coming from the colleges, it's really important for the kids to see that they also can have an education in science. They need to know that they can go to college and that they want to go to college and that college can be fun.
UVM kind of can feel like a bubble sometimes, and however you can get out of the bubble and get more into kind of the community that you're a part of, I think that's great. This is not really like anything we do in classes at UVM. We have labs where we do experiments and stuff, but it's not really as exciting at all for like me to be a student as it is for me to be a teacher. I'd rather like get to try to teach other people. Yeah, exactly.
So what have we learned about Pop Rocks, soda, and a few balloons? Learning never stops, and there's always something new to be learned about our world and ourselves. In Burlington, I'm Keith Silva, Across the Fence.
If you'd like to have a positive impact on young people by facilitating a 4-H special interest program, contact your local extension office. You can call 800-571-0668, toll free, or you can visit the 4-H website listed on your screen. You'll learn about volunteer opportunities as well as available curriculum and 4-H science kits. A little bit of your time makes a huge difference for kids. Our next segment takes us back to winter. At the University of Vermont, the Parks, Recreation and Tourism program has a variety of courses offerings for undergraduate students, including one that's rooted in the hills of Vermont. Rebecca Gollin has that story.
The ski industry is big business in Vermont.
Despite our small size, Vermont is still the #3 ski state in the country, the 3rd largest ski state, behind only Colorado and California, at just over 4 million skier visits per year.
Parker Reilly is the president of Ski Vermont, which is the association of ski areas in the state. He says those visits are crucial to Vermont's economy.
Tremendous amount of economic impact for Vermont. For example, skiers and riders annually spend about $700 million in Vermont during the course of the season.
While a lot of that money comes from visitors, many Vermont resorts offer deals to in-state college students. At the University of Vermont, there's no shortage of students that spend some time on the slopes. For most, it's a nice break from the classroom. For this group of students, however, the ski slopes are their classroom.
I really love to snowboard, and I wanted to learn more about the resort as a whole.
Jocelyn Plummer works as a snowboard instructor at Stowe, so she is already familiar with the mountain as an employee. In this ski area management class, she's getting a new perspective.
You've learned the one part of where you are all the time. Like, I know the Adventure Center like the back of my hand, and then going to Stowe for the whole week. At the beginning of this class, I learned every aspect of the whole resort, and then there was a little part of it that was ski school. And I felt like I knew everything there, but still learned more about it that I wouldn't normally learn in everyday work situations, but then also got to go to all the other different departments and learn everything about the entire resort, which was really cool because I'd never get that experience just working there as an instructor.
I think you define yourself by participating in what we call lifestyle sports, snowboarding, skiing.
Ski areas kind of epitomize the great outdoors in Vermont.
The man behind the class, Dave Kaufman, is a professor in the Parks, Recreation and Tourism program at UVM's Rubenstein School. For nearly 20 years, Kaufman has spent a week at Stowe over winter break, holding his ski area management class. Yes, that's a real class, and it involves a lot more than just skiing or riding.
We leave here at 7:30 in the morning, get back about 5:30 in the afternoon, and at least half of every day is in classroom presented by Stowe's top management. And then some of the afternoon is also with management.
And then in here, we'll go in, it's kind of the main compressor room. And then
we learned pretty much how they run their mountain, from their management to their mountain operations, how all the snowmaking, the grooming, the marketing team all works together to produce a product that fits their market.
There were some very passionate kids in the room, and I hope that they decide to get into this business because that's what it takes. It takes passionate people that love the mountains, love to be outside, and love to be with people, and it's a great lifestyle.
Dave Merriam is the director of mountain recreation at Stowe. He comes to Kaufman's class every year and talks to the students about what he does and answers their questions.
I mean, you can make choices in your life about what job you want, and kids at this age are weighing that all out.
The overwhelming majority of our students love the outdoors, and when they get into our major, it's beginning to focus even more that probably is ultimately what they want to get into when they get out of school.
What do you think is the next largest department?
For some students, the class opens their eyes to future careers they hadn't thought about before.
I've known for a while that I definitely want to go into marketing. It was just a matter of I didn't know what kind of marketing I wanted to do, where I wanted to do it, and this has really made me consider any sort of ski resort, whether it be around here or somewhere else, as an option just because I love the environment, I love the people that it draws, and I just love being there, and I love snowboarding, and I just feel like any combination of everything that you love so much would be the best job. So it's kind of swayed me from not knowing where I want to end up to kind of thinking I might want to go to a mountain somewhere.
I love skiing, I love outdoors, and I love to recreate, and learning about how I could maybe turn that into a potential business venture one day is pretty exciting.
Many of Kaufman's students do plan to pursue a career in outdoor recreation management, and they say that even if they don't head to a ski resort, the information they're learning will come in handy.
Even though I might not go into that exact industry, everything I learn is definitely helping me and is an advantage to some point in the ski industry. Definitely relevant information.
The class has been eye-opening in other ways as well.
It's changing the way I view ski areas as a skier. I have a season pass at Sugarbush here in Vermont, and everything from the way the employees interact with you and seeing the different types of lifts and the snowmaking options they have. It's a big business to run, and it takes a lot of employees and a lot of work.
I still see stuff popping up that I've learned in my other classes, but in a completely different and more real life way, I guess, because you're actually seeing it. You're going there, you're seeing exactly how marketing happens in the real world, and you're not just learning about how it should happen or how it could happen. So I guess seeing the connection and having the real hands-on experience is really cool, because that's what I'm going to be doing. That's where I'm going to be going.
That hands-on experience can translate to employment.
It's much more than just, ripping down the mountain, having a blast. I mean, all the work that goes into ensuring a good time for everybody is just so tremendous. And so this kind of program here at UVM, of course, really lays that bedrock foundation for that employment force, which again is so critical for the industry.
Spending time on Vermont slopes to learn about the business side of resorts. These UVM students could be on their way to a career in the industry. In Stowe, I'm Rebecca Gullen with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Rebecca. As the mountain snow and ice begins to melt away, Keith Silva focused his camera lens on the change of seasons. As we say goodbye this afternoon, Keith offers this photographic look at some of the last vestiges of winter. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy.